This is the science of stupid. Warning! Many of the actions you are about to see are beyond madness. Try them at home and it'll all end in tears. Yes, this is the show that combines science with stupidity. You are about to witness the antics of people who have gravely misunderstood the laws of science. We'll explain what went wrong and why by exploring the scientific principles behind momentum, parabola, and our old friend, gravity. Science is a force to be reckoned with. Mess with its rules, and it'll mess you up. So don't try any of this at home, or anywhere else for that matter. Look out! It's the science of stupid. On this show, we'll see the relationship between trajectory and impact. The downside of elastic restoring force. There it is. And how to balance momentum and friction. Or not. But first, this. If you're after a hobby that'll get you out in the fresh air and potentially send you flying through it, then look no further than parkour. It's a kind of urban gymnastics for people with a high pain threshold. And this is the Kong Vault, inspired by the way an ape moves. We may have evolved from ape-like creatures, but we did lose a few tricks along the way. Never seen an ape do that. Okay, when done correctly, the Kong Vault relies on being able to master a little rotational science, like this. First, he runs to gain momentum. Jumping forwards, this becomes angular momentum, rotating him over the obstacle. He then pushes down with his arms to reverse the rotation, enabling him to bring his feet underneath him for a balanced landing that retains plenty of momentum. So it's all about building up enough momentum to get over the obstacle and then using those ape-like arms to reverse that forwards rotation, otherwise known as a nosedive. A good run-up will build momentum, but how will he handle the rotation? Not well. He had plenty of momentum going into his dive, but a slippy hand meant he wasn't able to push up and reverse that forwards rotation. So his Kong took a turn for the worse. Literally. Let's see if you can do any better. Not really.
Whoa, you alright?
Did you film that?
Yeah.
Good, so let's watch it then. The reverse rotation was okay, but the momentum was a bit lacking. Although that push-up saved a bit of face. Specifically, his nose. So remember, momentum, reverse rotation, and swim lessons, just in case. Yeah, well spotted, mate. Guess what? Master the single Kong, and you can step it up with a vault over 2 obstacles. It's called a double Kong, imaginatively. If you can muster even more momentum and perfect that counter-rotation, then you'll nail it. But if you can't, you'll nail yourself. Not enough momentum to clear both walls, but more than enough for a nosedive. He's got it. Nice rotation. Last one wasn't so good. And that's because every time he counter-rotated, he lost momentum. Lovely somersault, though. Beer pong is an extremely simple game where people try to throw balls into beer cups on a table. Here are some people who are exceptionally good at it. Nice one, Grandma! And here's someone who hasn't quite understood the brief. Unfortunately, it turns out he's not the only one who thinks the slam dunk is a valid beer pong move. So if you're amongst that number, at least listen to this cautionary science. In the slam dunk, your centre of mass follows a parabolic trajectory set by your speed and angle of takeoff. This trajectory must be steep enough to allow the airtime to cover the distance and to bring the ball down within the steep sides of the cup. But the higher you jump, the more time gravity has to act on your mass, and so the greater the impact. First off, approach that table at speed. Good speed, but it is better to go over the table rather than under it. You're up next. But not up enough. He wanted a launch angle closer to 45 degrees and certainly higher than cup level.
Take my socks out?
No thanks. Let's just see your trajectory. Well, better, but not perfect.
That is a crater in my wall. That was his head.
Yeah, I know, that was close. He nearly hit the air freshener. OK, let's try with someone older and wiser. All right, just older. Grandpa's parabola was fine for height, but his dive to the left meant his centre of mass landed on the tippy side of the table, resulting in a pair of cracked ribs. But maximum respect from the kids. So, to a point, the ideal parabola for success is a high arc. But there is a price. A slam dunk ending in a fall from 4 feet will result in more than double the impact force of a fall from 1 foot. Not to mention a few more splinters in the face. So if you see your friends setting up for pong, dissuade them gently. Because the higher the leap, the harder fall. So it is possible to perfect a slam dunk. But it will cost a few tables to do it. Smashed it!
Skimboard high five. Maybe, but not sure yet.
Neither am I. This skimboarder is about to attempt a high-velocity high five with the chap driving the boat. But what scientific principle will this demonstrate? So, did you guess the scientific principle this skimboarding high five is about to demonstrate? Let's find out.
Here it comes. Staying down in front of the boat. Let's go with the rope. He's coming by us. He's coming right beside us. There he is. Oh.
Yep, it's centripetal force. This is provided by the tension in the rope accelerating the skimboarder in a circular motion. And it means that when the boat steers in, he's on a high-velocity collision course. And more of a low 10 than a high 5. Doctors recommend exercise balls for all sorts of things, toning the core, improving posture, and even helping women in labour. But I don't see too many doctors recommending this. Yep, this is a thing. People using exercise balls to do front flips and back flips. Nice! And it looks harmless enough, doesn't it? But there is a reason why doctors don't recommend it. You don't have to jump off a cliff to end up in a messy heap. And that's largely because of elastic restoring force. That is, squeeze an inflated rubber ball, and as it pushes back, it returns the energy you put into squeezing it. With exercise balls, it's the same principle, just on a much bigger scale. For a front flip, he jumps onto the near side of the ball. If the ball's elastic restoring force does not act through his centre of mass, he will rotate forwards. For a backflip, he jumps on the middle of the ball for maximum height and throws his legs up and back around his centre of mass. The greater the force with which he jumps on the ball and the more he tucks in, the more he'll rotate. But overdo it, and he's in trouble. Got that? Then let's start with a front flip.
Oh my God, Jeffsy!
Not a lot of flip there, Jeffsy. Wrong side of the ball. Bounce on the far side and the elastic restoring force will send you into a nosedive.
Jeffsy?
Exercise balls return about 80% of the energy put into squashing them, which was more than he expected, and resulted in an impact equivalent to a melon dropping on his chest from 16 feet. Yeah, I hate melons too. Tuck in from straight and you can spin 3 times as fast. See what I mean? He rotated at 120 RPM. Impressive, but I don't think he meant it. That's not an exercise ball. But that is a sore neck. Tyres only return about 40% of the energy, half as much as an exercise ball does. So less height and less rotation. But plenty of pain. Okay, that hasn't gone well. Perhaps we'll have more luck with backflips. Let's be honest, we probably won't, but we'll give it a go anyway. Big drop. This is tense. And mildly disappointing. He was going for a double flip, but his initial bounce isn't big enough for the elastic restoring force to give him the boost he needed. Yeah, you really dug a hole for yourself there, mate. With your head. Back to class. Different technique there. A jump meant more elastic restoring force and so more bounce. Nice one, coach. Don't worry, son, no sand to get between your teeth here. Just carpet. Nearly 100,000 people a year in the US are injured whilst motorbiking, so learning to brake properly is quite important. But for some people, proper braking is just boring. And here is one of those people, attempting a kangaroo stoppie. Brake on the front wheel, flip up the back, spin and hop. It takes a lot of practice. But it's not always worth the bother. Just think about it. Yeah, I'm afraid when it comes to leaping ability, human beings just can't match kangaroos, even on a motorbike. So for the purposes of damage limitation, here's the science. First, he opens up the throttle to build momentum, then applies the front brake. The combination of frictional force stopping the front wheel and the momentum of the rider and bike causes a turning effect. He then steers to one side so that the momentum pivots the bike around to face the opposite way, before dabbing the front brake to hop the bike onto the back wheel. So first of all, it's about getting just enough momentum. Great! Now apply friction. A bit less than that. Well, it was a stoppie of sorts. Just not a kangaroo one.
Woo! We got you on tape.
They are easily pleased. A kangaroo can jump 10 feet into the air. Not even close, and kangaroos are better at landing. He leant too far forwards and pivoted over the front wheel instead of around it. Less of a kangaroo, more of a lemming. How about this guy? Nah. He's too far forwards and rotates over the front wheel. But I think he got away injury-free. Oh, maybe not. For fans of the great outdoors, nature's just a playground, and one of its star attractions are river rapids. They can be fun, but you do need to keep an eye out.
Back battle!
Okay, so getting shunted in the face with a kayak is pretty bad. But for the rafter in particular, there are other dangers. You've just got to know how to handle them. When rafting, normally a crew balances out their weight equally, keeping the combined centre of mass central to the raft. But as they ride through rapids, the high water velocity and turbulence can tip the raft from side to side. So the crew must adjust their combined centre of mass to maintain stability. Another hazard is a hydraulic. This is a vortex that happens when rapids pour around big obstacles, sucking water upstream and down towards the bottom. Hit one of these and you and your raft can be sucked right in. But if there's no vortex off the bow, it's simple. You just need a good sense of balance. With 3 on either side and 1 at the back, the centre of mass lies on a line straight down the middle. Oh, never mind. There's still 3 on either side. Let's see how this crew manages their centre of mass. Well, 6 out of 7 isn't bad. At least he took his paddle with him. That'll be useful, maybe. Sharp turn, but can they do it?
Oh, poor little campers!
No, they can't, poor little campers.
I don't quite know what to say about that.
I do, and I blame this not-so-little camper and his mass. Remember that vortex I was talking about? Well, that raft up front is about to get stuck in one. Once you're in, it's very hard to get out. A little push might help. There you go. That's half of them out. Kayaks can experience less pull from a vortex because they're smaller than rafts. Doesn't always help, and sometimes bailing out is the only option. No? Okay. Did you know the official record for the longest underwater breath hold is 22 minutes? But he was a free diver, not a kayaker. Ah, there he is. Better late than never. Jim DeChamp of the USA holds the record for the most BMX bar spins in 1 minute. He managed 62, more than 1 a second. This isn't Jim, but he's not too shabby either. And he's certainly not Jim. The bar spin isn't as easy as it might look, and there is, as always, some science involved. First, he gets airborne. He then applies just enough force to rotate the wheel 360 degrees before getting both hands back on the handlebars for stability in either direction. And ensuring his centre of gravity is over the pedals for front-to-back stability. So the big challenge here lies in pulling off that pain-free landing. And that starts with getting your centre of gravity in the right place. Hard stone steps, cracked pavement. Perfect for a bar spin. At least it would be if you had your centre of gravity over your pedals. Even less ideal, an impact force equal to twice his own body weight. Good idea, start small. OK, I'd quit there. His centre of gravity was fine at first, but this one-handed approach meant he applied force on just one side, turning the handlebars. More airtime might help. Yeah, I said might. Look, handlebars are for putting your hands on, not, well, those. Shirt's off, but can he nail it? Close. He got his hands back to the bar, but didn't get a good grip. I'd wear a shirt next time. And a helmet. Right, and let that be a lesson to you all. Attempting any of the stunts you've just seen can only lead to injury and regret. Now, that's all the pain we've got time for now, so... Oh, no, hang on. There is time for a bit more.